juke, juke, juke gobble, juke, juke, juke gobble, juke, juke, juke gobble, juke, juke, juke gobble, juke, juke. Good morning. That's Codger Biker here. That was my first impression on the KTM 790 Duke. Get it? Okay. My very first ride out on my new 790 Duke by KTM. He's introduced himself to me and told me that his name is Gene Chandler. Not quite sure why, but there you go. Might be something to do with the song I was singing. Seems to have got into my head. Obviously, I'm not going to be saying too much because I've actually done only 6 miles on it so far. But one thing I do like, heated grips, never had them before, absolutely brilliant. It's a brand new bike, brand new tyres on a very wet road, so, and the Maxxis tyres as well, which are not the greatest. I'll be taking it easy, trundle around a little bit, codger style, and unfortunately for the Duke, I will be comparing it to my CRF 1000L DCT Africa Twin, which is not really fair because Gene Chandler will have to put up with me re-instructing myself how to use a clutch and gears again, which is ridiculous because I've only ever had one DCT bike and I had it for 3 months, and I feel like I've been entirely de-skilled. Prior to that, I don't think I ever stalled a bike since I was about 16, probably younger than that. I've stalled this one twice already, and it's not the bike's fault. It's just, yeah, I've been de-skilled. I think that's one thing I would say about the dual clutch technology. It's absolutely brilliant, but it does de-skill you. And in some ways, it's quite refreshing to have control back again, particularly engine braking. But you haven't tuned in, if you've tuned in at all, to listen to a review on a Honda Africa Twin with DCT. You're probably interested in the 790 Duke. If, like me, you're thinking of getting one, you're probably watching everything you can find. So here's my 2 penny worth for what it's worth. It's not even going to cost you 2p. Alright, you can see the roads are very wet. There's a whole load of rain coming in, so I'm not staying out for too long. And first up, my first impression of this bike is it's new. I've never had a new bike before, so that in itself is very exciting. Brand new. It's also, I know it's called the Scalpel, but at the moment I would call it the Rifle, because it feels like snapping cartridges into a old 303 rifle or something. Feels very precise, but still a little bit like it needs to be smoothed out, which, you know, presumably it will be over the next 500 or 600 miles. Trying to keep the revs down. I don't think I've been out of 3rd gear yet. It feels tiny, this bike, minute, which is ridiculous because the seat height is actually, I think, 5mm higher than I had on the low setting of my Africa Twin. So it's not low, it's just that it doesn't have that front end that an adventure bike has, with the big front wheel and all the fairing and screen. I do have a screen for it. I also have I've fitted a mount for GPS, so I'll be fitting a screen at some point. It feels quite dainty. So you may be wondering, why did you swap? Because I actually did swap my Africa Twin for this bike. The reason I swapped is, good morning, because I'm a bit puny. Oh, just used a quick shifter there, lovely. I'm a bit puny these days, and 250 kilograms, as I said in one of my previous videos, just proved to be too much really. It wasn't that I couldn't handle it, morning, I could do, it's just it kind of put me off going out, all the hassle of putting it on its stand and taking off its stand and all the rest of it, whereas this bike I'm hoping is just to jump on and go. I could probably pick this up one-handed if I dropped it. Hopefully I never will drop it, but if that happens, most bikes get dropped at some point. Oh, we got sunshine. Also the indicators, when you put them on, it just flashes, it doesn't tell you which way you've indicated. I'm kind of used to having one on each side. I do have a habit of having to turn my indicators off 20 times for every one time that I use them, because I keep thinking I'm leaving them on. Indicator Tourette's, some people call it. So I don't like that, it's a bit, but it's built to a budget, I suppose. The screen I love, I think it's fantastic. All these settings, you can see I'm in rain mode at the moment. You might be able to see that for obvious reasons. It has been raining, and you know, I'm going to use everything I can. But even in rain mode, if I open up, it goes. It's supposed to be only 10 horsepower more than the Africa Twin, but due to the weight, it's only about 170 kilograms, this bike. That's actually, with me on this bike, it's still lighter than the AT, so very light bike, very willing bike. I think I'm going to have a lot of fun on this when I get used to it, but I do need a screen. I don't like not having a screen. If nothing else, it's to stop the GPS from blowing off. I've got the screen already, I've got a Pugue screen to go on. Unfortunately, at the moment, I've got a USB connector that is in the way of where the screen needs to go, so I have to figure that out at some point. But that's for the future. The seating position on this bike, I found a little bit uncomfortable when I first got on it. I'm used to sitting easy rider style almost on the AT. This one, your legs are up a little higher and your feet are a little bit further back, and you're leaned over slightly on your arms, not too much. But I have to say, after a couple of minutes I forgot all about it. Just hold on with your knees. You can kind of move around on the seat till you find a position that you're comfortable with, which is what I've done. I've sat a bit further forward. For you, you might want to sit a bit further back. I won't be able to give an honest opinion on this bike until I've had it for a few weeks, probably till I've run it in and had the first service. But initial impressions is I love those heated grips. I love the way it picks up speed. I know there are some people have said there's a fueling problem with sort of 30 miles an hour. Well, I'm in rain mode, I can't feel anything at the moment. But then again, that's probably because I'm in rain mode. I'll have to check that when I go into street mode later on. But at the moment I've got no issues with that. Also, I do believe there's a new firmware that may have solved some of those problems. I'm guessing that mine will have had the new firmware installed prior to me receiving the bike in the workshop when they did the checks. Fitted the heated grips and the USB. I will in a few minutes pull over and I can find somewhere and do not a walk around, a little look at what the bike looks like as I've got it at the moment. Usually on the AT I'd get the back end stepping out a little bit by now, or at least have the traction control kicking in. So far I've not noticed anything on this bike, but it could be that the software is sorting all that for me. Oh, it goes. Wow. If that's rain mode, can't wait to get it into street. Or even track. Well, that won't be today. I've also noticed that the rev counter goes red about 6,000 revs. I don't know whether that's because that you're supposed to keep it below that till it's running. Maybe that gets reset at the first service, I don't know. It certainly seems like it can rev well beyond that. I'm not going to be doing that at the moment for obvious reasons. Just turn around and then find somewhere in a minute to do a little bit of a walk around. Right, so there we have the KTM 790 Duke, and from here it looks bigger than it is when I'm on it. It seems to disappear. The reason it feels to disappear is because it's got no front screen on it. A sad bag. Oh well, it's there to be used. I did get heated grips, so the KTM heated grips with the horrible wires which poke out. I'm going to have to do something about that. I also got the USB socket on it. The quick shifter all seems to be working, and I actually really like that headlight. Some people think those headlights are ugly, but I think it's beautiful. With the full headlight on, it's I think that's a thing of beauty. I've fitted a fitting for the GPS, so the GPS will run off the USB and it fits there nicely. But I am going to fit a screen, as sacrilege to some of you I know, but to cover the GPS so it doesn't blow off. And then really, with a rucksack or a bigger bag strapped on the back, I think I could even go touring on it, just to get used to it. Well, I'm probably going to. So far, KTM 790 Duke, it's a thumbs up. It's an amazing thing. It's a brand new bike. I've never had one before. I haven't got the Akrapovic. I'm not really bothered about making a lot of noise. It's noisy enough. You can hear it. You probably hear a few pops. Does a few pops from standard, so you want that kind of thing. I have ordered a radiator guard for it, which I do think it needs, particularly on these kind of roads if you get a stone. And there's some holly there, look, I rode over that. Obviously tubeless tyres on this, so that'll be quite handy. I put a tube repair kit in the back. So right, get back on the road, get home. Looks like it's going to rain. I've now done 16 miles. I do know one thing, it'd be very easy to wheelie this. I think if you turn off anti-wheelie, just open it up fast in seconds, she'll be up in the air, or he'll be up in the air. Sorry, Gene. Yeah, apparently he's a male, he identifies as a male. Gene Chandler. As I was saying, I'm in second gear now, but to turn off anti-wheelie and open it, I'm sure it'd be quite easy to get the front wheel up. But not in rain mode, I hope. Little blast of speed there. Yeah, it's a very quick little bike. Far quicker than I'm ever going to need. I have to say that although there's no screen, and I know other people have said that, maybe it's the headlight or the where the screen's angled on it, but there is airflow. It's quite smooth though, it's not turbulent air, so from that point of view, being a naked bike, it's not an issue. Here's where we'll feel the, or I will feel the firmer suspension. That wasn't too bad. In terms of handling, it's handles great. Really does. Gives you a lot of confidence. Even in the wet, it just feels like it's not going to move, even on new tyres. Yeah, I'm not going to push this, but even in the wet it feels great. I mean, if you want a bike to grip the road, this definitely feels like it's going to be one of them. Those heated grips are wonderful. I'm not going back to unheated hands. If you're watching this, Morris, you were right. Heated grips, fantastic. Hey, you don't have to go mad on it, it goes nicely. I'm in third gear, 4,000 revs. As happy as anything. This engine's amazing actually. You yank the throttle, it goes. Of course we should endeavour to be smooth at all times. I do find I don't know if it's the heated grips or not, but I do find the grips feel a bit thin to me, the handlebars. I suppose I'll get used to it. They certainly make up for it with the warmth. One thing I don't like, I think it's been said a lot, is the mirrors. Just don't think they're very good. It's not the shape so much, I just don't think they give you a brilliant view behind. They're okay, but everything looks very tiny in them. I can see only part of my arm, so it's not that. It's just, I don't know. Compared to the Honda mirrors, they're just not as good. But I'm sure that can be changed at some point, or I'll get used to them. I did actually say to myself that apart from the screen, I'm not going to do anything to this bike for a while and just use it as it is. So I may leave the mirrors on for a while and see if I get used to them. Okay, this is a very bumpy piece of road here. I've had problems here with the AT in the past. There's a rut runs down the middle, it catches your wheel. Let's see how it handles that. You can definitely feel all the bumps. A tar snake down the middle. But it's okay. Firm is how I'd call it. It's not shaking, it's just feels firm. Got a firm feeling to it. Yes, it's definitely a firmer ride than I'm used to. The seat's not uncomfortable, it's firm, so the whole thing's firm. I'll have to go on a sort of couple of hour ride and see, you know, how it was then. It's not a bad place to be sitting. I think a lot of people have said also that the way this is set up it doesn't need adjusting. I think I'm probably the target weight for this. I'm about 70 kilograms. So if I was going to set it up, which I've never bothered to do in the past, this is probably how I would have set it up anyway. I wonder what it's like to stand up on. Yeah, not brilliant. You could stand up on it, I suppose, for a little while, but you wouldn't want to go very far standing up. It's not really designed for that anyway. Oh, some nice pops from the exhaust there when you shut the throttle. Yeah, it's a great bike for filtering. Just take over anywhere you like. Okay, well that's the end of today. First ride. One thing I can tell you is this is a great bike in the rain. In rain mode. Very light, very Scalpel like. I wonder why they didn't call it the Scalpel. Oh yeah, that's right, they did. Right, this has been Codger Biker. Thanks for watching. If you want to subscribe, that'd be great. Likes would be even better. I'll be doing one or two more things on the KTM 790 Duke over the next few weeks. And thank you to everybody out there who's put 790 Duke videos up. I've watched them all. It helped me to decide to choose this bike. So thank you to all you people. And maybe this will help somebody also to choose this bike one day. You won't regret it. It's a great bike. Bye! Duke, 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 Duke Scalpel, Duke, Duke, Duke Scalpel, Duke, Duke, Duke Scalpel.